What is going on, you guys? It is Gawa. Welcome back to yet another Magic the Gathering video. Today in this video, we're going to be taking a look at my Negan Cold-Blooded Commander deck. Before we do hop into the video though, I'd like to say if you're new around here, be sure to drop a sub and to check out the link in the bio to join the Discord. We're always up to no good there. And if you'd also like to support the channel a bit more, there's also the link to the member subscription page. But yeah, I just want to say before we hop in the video that I do apologize for the just delay in content for a while. I was recently moving and I moved into my own place. So that was the reason for the lack. And I started a new job, so it was a lot of stuff in just one go. But yeah, this is a Negan. He is a 4/3. He is a 5-drop. So basically, when he enters the battlefield, you and target opponent each secretly choose a creature that player controls, and then that player, the choices are revealed, and that player sacrifices those creatures. And whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, so basically, if you did that secret thing and you both pick 2 different choices, they sack both, and you make 2 treasure tokens. So basically, this deck is a Flicker Negan tribal, but it's also a sacrifice treasure tribal is what I call it. So yeah, let's hop into the main juice of the deck. So we start off with 6 swamps. We start off with 5 plains and 5 mountains. It's very weird to have basic lands in this deck. I don't usually like running basic lands, but you know. Next we have Forbidden Orchard, just basically tap for any color, and you give your opponent a spirit. Basically with that, people I've seen say like, why do you use Forbidden? But with this, it's good because they're going to have to sacrifice it anyway. So, you know, you just get that Negan trigger. We have the Reflecting Pool, where you basically can tap a mana of any color for the lands you control. Luxury Suite, tap for red and black. Sunbaked Canyon, tap for a red and white. Blood Crypt for a red and a black. Godless Shrine for a white and a black. Sundown Pass for a red and a white. Red and a white Foundry. Command Tower, any color. City of Brass, any color. Vault of Champions, white and black. And Sulphur Springs, colorless, or you add red or black. And red or black from Dragon Skull Summit. Yeah. So that's the land base in this deck. We'll leave the spells till last because they're the most kind of important things of this. So let's start off with the creatures. So the Planeswalker has the Eternal Wanderer. Basically, she's going to allow you to exile up to 1 target artifact, so she can flicker for her +1 ability. Or you can create a Samurai token, or you can basically, you choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. So basically, you choose 1 creature on someone's board, just something like light, like a dork or something, basically sacrifice the rest. Next, we have Carmen. She basically gets +1/+1 counters whenever a permanent is sacrificed. Next, we have Rankle. He's a flying haster, and then whenever he does combat damage to a player, you can make player discard a card, lose a life, and draw a card, or each player sacrifices a creature. So that last ability is awesome for Rankle. I mean, if you're cooking up and you've got, you know, your opponent's got a lot of cards, you can just sacrifice it to Negan, and then, you know, you're making a lot of treasures. Opposition Agent. Mayhem Devil. Basically, Opposition Agent is where if people search, you search. You basically take control. Mayhem Devil, sacrifice permanent, deals 1 damage, so it's just a little chip damage over time. Whenever Captain Lantern's Storm attacks, create a colorless treasure artifact creature token, and whenever you sacrifice a treasure, you get +1/+1. So technically, when you crack a treasure, you give Captain Lantern's Storm a +1/+0 until end of turn. So this one's basically where if someone controls more lands than you, you basically can make a treasure token. So it's like a land tax, but with treasure tokens. Gadrick, so beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died. This just gets extremely out of hand if you board wipe for a lot. So Turgid, basically take people's stuff. Fleshbag, he is just another sack outlet. Ancient Copper, we got this in here just simply for the attack, roll a d20 of treasures, and it's the only time I could show off this beautiful Ancient Copper. Braids, Basically, you can sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalkers. Each opponent may sacrifice. If they don't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. So it's just pretty good. Magda. Put Magda in here just because, you know, she can sacrifice 5 treasures and search your library for an artifact or dragon card. So I basically do this because you can just 5 treasure into Magda, or move 5 treasures into Magda, and then sacrifice them and then go find like Ancient Copper and start just making more. So it's just more value. Mahadi, basically same thing at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn, so they can stack up well. Probably my favorite card in this deck, Machiko. So whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, that player sacrifices a permanent. So it's just crazy. Charming Prince. This is basically a flicker or a scry, to be honest. I don't really ever choose to gain 3 life. Professional Facebreaker. So whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, and you can sacrifice a treasure and exile the top 3 of your library and play them. Excuse me, sorry. Next we have Lotho. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose life, create treasure tokens, so just more value. Plague Crafter, another one, enters the battlefield. Each player sacrifices a creature planeswalker, and if they can't, then they discard a card. Next, we have Grim Harling. So same thing, whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. Esper Sentinel, just card draw. Zorn, so basically doubles, or he doesn't double, he just gives you create those treasures +1. Grand Abolisher, no one can attack you on your turn. Also, if you haven't noticed, this deck is like almost fully foiled out. I've been just trying to do that because this Negan deck is kind of blingy. Painter Servant, Blood Artist. Next we have Delny. Just basically he's really good because stuff like, you know, Blood Artist and stuff like Blood Artist and Esper Sentinel and stuff will trigger twice. So it's just crazy good. Eldrazi Displacer, probably my favorite, one of my favorite cards in this deck. Just with a lot of mana, you can just constantly keep exiling Negan and bringing him back to the battlefield. It gets people really salty, especially if you have a lot of mana, like it's a long game, because you can end up taking out people's board and just making mass amounts of treasures. It's great. Roaming Throne. So we use Roaming Throne in this for stuff like, you know, the humans. So like Professional Facebreaker and like Plague Crafter and stuff, like they come in, and Negan himself. So he comes in, they're just going to double trigger. Dockside to make treasures, of course. And we got Sholdridge. So beginning of upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And at the beginning of upkeep, each player sacrifices, or that player sacrifices a creature. So yeah, crazy good. I'll show you the tokens before we get into the real juice of this. So we just got treasures, copy, samurai, walker, spirit, treasure, copy, treasure. Awesome. All right, let's hop into this pile. This is a mixture of enchantments, artifacts, and spells. So we got Phyrexian Arena. We have Conjurer's Closet. So at your end step, you're able to exile a target creature you control and return that to the battlefield. So it's just a Negan flicker. We have Smother and Tithe. Beautiful anime, Smother and Tithe. I finally got one after. Teleportation Circle. So you can do the same thing, but you can do this with an artifact. There's actually an artifact in here that allows you to flicker stuff as well. So Teleportation Circle is always good. Revel in Riches. This is the main win con in this deck. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure token. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. So that's basically the main one. And here is the artifacts of the deck. So we have Talisman of Indulgence. We have my beautiful Lightning Greaves that I finally got, the Secret Layer version. Helm of the Host, just to make multiple copies of Negan. Prowler's Helm, this is for Negan because, you know, if you want to chip away with combat damage for some odd reason, Prowler's Helm is good because it can't be blocked except by walls. We have Soul Ring. We have Sword of Hearth and Home. This is just, honestly, you can equip to anyone, and whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target creature you own. So, I mean, you could put this on Negan, just keep flickering Negan, but when he, like, leaves the battlefield, the sword's going to fall off of him, so it's just, you know. We have Grindstone. We basically run the Grindstone the Grindstone Painter Servant combo as a combo in this deck. We have the Reaver Cleaver, so it gets +1/+1 as trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create that many treasures. Tithing Blade is the one I was talking about. It's when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature, so with Teleportation Circle, you can just keep flickering Tithing Blade. Mana Crypt, obvious. Arcane Signet, obvious. Jeweled Lotus, obvious. Mox Amber, obvious. Talisman of Hierarchy, Fellowwire Stone, Lucille, so this gives you +2 and +0, and whenever the creature attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature, and if they do, you create a Walker token, so it's great for Negan. Slip on the Ring, that's basically a flicker effect. Teferi's Protection. Bonus Hunger is a crazy one too, because if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game, and each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you have the City's Blessing, instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures. So, you know, if they're doing, like, you know, you're on a table of 4 and they sacrifice 15 creatures, you're going to make 15 treasures from Negan. It's insane. Cloud Shift, another just flicker effect. Malika Rebirth is crazy. It's just one of those, at the end of turn, when this creature dies, return to the battlefield, tap owner's control. So even if it goes to die, still with Negan, you flicker. So, I mean, it's just great. Next we have Swords to Plowshares. Ephemerate, another flicker effect. Smallpox, each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, then sacrifice a land for 2. I mean, the value is insane. Shoulder's Edict is basically sacrifices a non-token creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token, or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. Crackling Doom deals 2 damage to each opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control, which is a great way to get their heavy creatures out of the way. Reanimate. Brass Bounty is kind of those cards that I was really considering kind of cutting. It's like for each land you control, create a colorless treasure artifact creature token. So, you know. Invitation Only is a crazy one. Choose a number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices that many creatures. It's just crazy, you know, if you have a lot of things on the go, you can just hit them with that. Demonic Tutor. Dark Ritual. Next we have Pox. This is a card that I recently found, and it's actually kind of crazy. So it's each player loses 1/3 of his or her life, then chooses and discards 1/3 of the cards in her hand, then sacrifice 1/3 of the creatures he or she controls, and finally sacrifice 1/3 of lands he or she controls. Round each loss of effects that prevent or redirect damage cannot be used. Next we got Night Feeder's Visitation, which is just a Night's Whisper. So lose 2, draw 2. Soul Shatter. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures they control. Kaya's Guile, just a way to make people sacrifice, or you can make some spirit tokens. And last is Hellish Rebuke. So when this permanent deals damage to the player who casts Hellish Rebuke, you sacrifice this permanent, you lose 2 life. So you can just instant speed that, hit that with someone who's trying to hit you with something. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Like I said, sorry for being absent for a little while. I just kind of, with work and the new place, I kind of been very, very busy. But should be back to the grind soon. The new job and stuff is a Monday to Friday. It's very great. So, I mean, there's always room for me to stop by and make the YouTube videos. But like I said, if you're new around here, be sure to drop a sub and check out the Discord link in the bio. And yeah, I really, really appreciate all the support, and we're still popping off, even though I haven't uploaded in like 30 days, almost a month. We're still popping off and doing numbers, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching, like I've said, and remember, if it ain't Gawa Gang, it's no gang. I love y'all. Stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.